I'm Anna, and I live with my husband Eddie and our adorable daughter Camilla. We've been married for 7 years, and together we make a family of 3. I'm a full-time housewife, and until recently, I believed we were all happy. Our daughter Camilla just turned 4, and her bright personality has really started to shine. She's curious, articulate, and sometimes a bit stubborn. But as her sense of independence grew, Eddie's temper began to unravel. It started small, just a raised voice here, a dismissive tone there. When Camilla acted out, Eddie would lose his patience. "I'm your father. What's with that attitude?" he'd shout, as Camilla, with all the innocence of a child, tried to defend herself. "But Dad, you ignored me first." Eddie would get frustrated and resort to hurtful words. "Hey, Anna, take this brat and leave her in the mountains." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "Eddie, do you even realize what you're saying? Don't joke like that." But my protest only made him angrier. "Why do I have to give in? She's not even cute when she acts like this," he'd grumble, dismissing Camilla's tears. This pattern kept repeating, and soon Eddie started coming home less often. "Work's just too much right now," he'd say, though I knew it was just an excuse. I missed the man I married, the one who promised to always be there for us. Whenever I tried to talk about it, Eddie would brush me off. "You're so troublesome, Anna. It's your attitude that makes me not want to come home." Then came the final blow. One day, Eddie suggested we build a new house. "Camilla's getting bigger, and we need more space," he said, trying to sound thoughtful. For a moment, I allowed myself to believe him. Maybe this was a new beginning. We spent months planning every detail of the house together, and for the first time in a long while, I felt hopeful. But when the house was finally built, everything came crashing down. Eddie revealed the truth. "This house isn't for you and Camilla. It's for me, my girlfriend, and our child." I was speechless. He went on to explain how he'd been seeing someone else for years, how they had a son together, and how he built this house for his real family. "You and Camilla can't live here," he said, his voice devoid of emotion. I was devastated, my world falling apart in an instant. I looked at Camilla, expecting tears, but instead, she tugged at my hand, her little voice steady. "Mom, let's just leave. We don't need him." That was the moment I realized how strong my daughter was, stronger than me, perhaps. We packed our things that day and left for my parents' house. My parents were furious, but someone else, my grandfather, was even angrier. He was determined to make things right. 2 weeks later, I returned to finalize the divorce. Eddie was arrogant as ever, spewing insults and dismissing me. But his demeanor changed when my grandfather walked in, the chairman of Eddie's company. Eddie had no idea who he was insulting. My grandfather made it clear Eddie would lose everything: his job, his home, his reputation. Eddie tried to backtrack, but it was too late. He signed the divorce papers, his hands trembling. As we left, I felt a sense of closure. Camilla and I moved into an apartment my grandfather arranged for us, and we started our new life together, just the 2 of us. Eddie tried to contact me, begging for another chance, but I knew better. He was reaping what he had sown. Our new life wasn't easy at first. There were nights when I would lie awake, wondering how everything had fallen apart so quickly. The hurt and betrayal felt like a weight on my chest, and sometimes I worried about how Camilla was coping. But every morning, I'd see her bright smile, and it reminded me that I needed to be strong for her. She was my rock, even at such a young age. We settled into our new routine. Camilla started preschool, and I focused on making our apartment feel like home. I spent my days cooking, cleaning, and making sure Camilla was happy. My parents were incredibly supportive, visiting often and helping with whatever they could. My grandfather, too, checked in on us, ensuring we had everything we needed. It was their love and support that helped me get back on my feet. One day, Camilla came home from preschool with a drawing she had made. It was a picture of the 2 of us, holding hands under a bright sun. "Look, Mommy, this is us. We're happy," she said, her eyes shining with pride. Tears welled up in my eyes as I knelt down to hug her. "Yes, sweetheart. We are happy," I whispered, realizing that as long as I had her, I truly had everything I needed. Months passed, and I found myself slowly healing. The pain was still there, but it wasn't as sharp as it used to be. I started to feel hopeful again. I even began considering going back to work. I wanted to provide a better future for Camilla, and I knew that meant taking steps to regain my independence. My grandfather offered me a position at his company, but I wanted to do this on my own. I started applying for jobs, determined to build a life for myself and my daughter. One afternoon, while I was preparing dinner, there was a knock at the door. I opened it to find Eddie standing there, looking disheveled and tired. "Anna, please, I need to talk to you," he said, his voice pleading. I felt a mix of emotions, anger, sadness, and a strange sense of pity. I stepped outside, closing the door behind me to keep Camilla from hearing. "What do you want, Eddie?" I asked, my voice cold. He looked down at his feet, struggling to find the words. "I made a mistake, Anna. I lost everything, my job, the house, even her. She left me, took our son, and now I'm alone. I miss you and Camilla. I want us to be a family again." I stared at him, unable to believe what I was hearing. After everything he had done, he thought he could just walk back into our lives? "Eddie, you made your choice. You chose her over us. You built a life without us, and now you want to come back because things didn't work out? That's not how it works," I said, my voice steady. He looked up at me, his eyes filled with desperation. "Please, Anna, I know I messed up, but I want to make it right. I love you. I love Camilla." I shook my head. "You don't get to say that. You don't get to hurt us and then come back when it's convenient for you. Camilla and I are doing fine without you. We don't need you, Eddie. We're better off without you." He opened his mouth to say something, but I didn't want to hear it. I turned and went back inside, closing the door firmly behind me. I leaned against it, taking a deep breath. Camilla looked up from her coloring book, her big eyes filled with curiosity. "Who was that, Mommy?" she asked. I smiled at her, pushing away the emotions swirling inside me. "Just someone who got lost, sweetheart. Nothing for you to worry about." As the days turned into weeks, Eddie continued to try to contact me. He sent messages, left voicemails, even showed up at my parents' house once. But I knew better than to let him back in. He had made his choice, and now he had to live with the consequences. I was determined to protect Camilla from any more pain. One day, I received a call from my grandfather. He had heard about Eddie's attempts to reach me and wanted to make sure I was okay. "Anna, you don't have to deal with this alone. If he keeps bothering you, we'll take legal action," he said, his voice filled with concern. "Thank you, Grandpa. I'm handling it." "I won't let him hurt us again," I replied, grateful for his support. It was in that moment that I realized just how lucky I was. I had a family that loved me, a daughter who was my entire world, and the strength to move forward. As time went on, I found a job at a local boutique. It wasn't much, but it was a start. The hours were flexible, allowing me to be there for Camilla whenever she needed me. The owner, a kind woman named Margaret, quickly became a friend. She understood my situation and offered me not just a job, but also a place where I could rebuild my confidence. Camilla was thriving too. She made friends at preschool and loved telling me all about her day. Every night, we would sit together at the dinner table, and she would share her stories, her laughter filling the room. It was in those moments that I knew I had made the right decision. We didn't need Eddie. We were building our own happiness, one day at a time. One evening, as we were getting ready for bed, Camilla looked up at me and said, "Mommy, are you happy?" Her question took me by surprise, and I paused for a moment before answering. I knelt down beside her, brushing a strand of hair away from her face. "Yes, sweetheart, I am happy. As long as I have you, I will always be happy." She smiled, wrapping her small arms around my neck. "I love you, Mommy," she whispered. I held her close, my heart swelling with love. "I love you too, Camilla, more than anything in the world." As I lay in bed that night, I thought about everything we had been through. The betrayal, the heartbreak, the fear of the unknown. It had all led us to this point, a place of peace, of love. of hope. I knew there would still be challenges ahead, but I also knew that we could face them together. The next morning, I woke up with a sense of purpose. I was done letting the past define me. I was ready to embrace the future, whatever it might hold. I got Camilla ready for preschool, packed her lunch, and walked her to the bus stop. As she waved goodbye from the window, I felt a sense of pride. We had come so far, and there was still so much ahead of us. I returned home and looked around our apartment. It wasn't the biggest or the fanciest place, but it was ours. It was filled with laughter, with love, with memories that we were creating every single day. And that was enough for me. Later that day, I received a call from Margaret. She wanted to know if I was interested in taking on more hours at the boutique. "I think you're ready for more responsibility, Anna," she said. "You've been doing a great job, and I want to help you grow." I smiled, feeling a warmth spread through me. "Thank you, Margaret. I would love that," I replied, knowing that this was just the beginning. I was finally finding my way, step by step, building a life that was ours and ours alone. That evening, as Camilla and I sat down for dinner, I looked at her and felt a surge of gratitude. "You know, Camilla, we are stronger than we think," I said, my voice filled with emotion. She looked up at me, her eyes wide. "Really, Mommy?" I nodded, smiling at her. "Yes, sweetheart, we are. And no matter what happens, we will always have each other." She grinned, her face lighting up. "Always, Mommy. Always." And in that moment, I knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, we would face them together. Because we were a family built on love, resilience, and the unbreakable bond between a mother and her daughter.